So hello guys, today we're gonna hop over last week's trades that I missed or that I took. No, I actually didn't took a trade last week, as you can see my in my journal here. So last week was 17th of June to 21st, and so here's 17 and here's 20. So yeah, no trade. But I missed some setups, if I'm being honest. I don't know why. I think there were news and I wasn't allowed to trade. And we will see. So let's hop right into it. So here on the chart we can see Monday. So on Monday the bias wasn't fully in line. So which day was Monday? 16. So here. So on Monday our daily bias was bearish and we were allowed to take a trade. Then the 4-hour bias, the 4-hour bias was bullish, and you can see that just by checking the structure here. And the 1-hour was also bullish. So conflicting biases, bearish, bullish, bullish. That means I'm not allowed to take a trade. Yeah. Then on the 5-minute, we got a break of structure. What the fuck did I write? So let's look right here. So bias wasn't in line, so I wasn't really looking for a trade, but let's see if we missed something. So I need London session lows to be swept. These are London session lows right here, and as we can see, they clearly didn't get swept, so it's good that I didn't took a trade on that day. So now we can delete that day and let's hop right onto Tuesday. So on Tuesday, on Tuesday, it's 17th. We were also allowed to take a trade, and here our biases were actually also not in line again, because the daily bias was bullish since we broke structure the upside on this candle right here. So I didn't took a trade. Let's look right at it. So here I actually missed a good setup because I was too busy doing something else. So our bias changed. So the 1-hour bias was bullish, as you guys saw, but here, right here, where I marked it out, we changed our bias to bearish, and so the bias were in line again, and I missed that, and it was still in my trading session, so that's on me, and yeah, so I could have entered, I think I marked out what I could have entered off. I think it was a fair value gap. So here, yeah, it was a fair value gap, a 5-minute fair value gap. So we dipped right here into it. Then highs, I looked for 3-minute highs because the other highs were too far away for me and it would have been a bad risk to reward. So here, 3-minute highs, stop loss below, above that, entered off the 5-minute fair value gap. And that's a perfectly executed trade. We took out these first take profits and we could have gone for also more. So first take profit would have been a risk to reward for 1 to 2. So this one. Next take profit, probably this. Something, I think this. Nah, this. Sorry. So yeah, always take profit for myself. I marked them out yellow. Then this one. And then that would have been it. We would have actually taken out nearly every take profit. So that would have been a banger trade to take. But we didn't took it, and that's completely fine, because actually it's not fine because we missed the trade, but what can we do about it now? We can't do shit about it. So next day, next mistakes, we learn from them. And yeah, I don't get mad at mistakes because I learn from mistakes. So the next day was Wednesday. Here I also saw a potential setup on my Notion. I wasn't allowed to take a trade because we had FOMC news, and I don't trade on FOMC news because they can be very high impact. So I also didn't do the daily bias thing. But just considering, let's see. So what was it? Thursday? No, Wednesday. So Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. So here the bias was still bearish on the daily. Then it's probably this one. So also here our bullish. Oh, here actually our bias was bullish, so it wasn't clear where price action wanted to go. And on the 1 hour we were bullish too before session open. So bias were conflicting too. So I'm glad I didn't took the trade, or I didn't even try to take a trade, because as you guys can see, it probably would have ended up by just gambling rather than trading, and that's not the goal. So I'm glad I didn't took the trade, even though I saw a potential setup with London session sweep and everything. But my bias wasn't in line, and that's also important for my trade. So now first day probably I didn't trade because of news again. Actually I was allowed, but actually the bias was in line too, but I didn't saw a setup. So here is my trading frame, New York session. So daily bias was bearish, so I was looking for a sweep of the highs of London session. So this would have been probably those which ones? Yeah, probably those right here. So, and we didn't took them out, so I didn't look for a trade. So, and I'm also glad again I didn't took the trade, because there was actually no setup too. Then let's hop on right to Friday, and on Friday we can see, I forgot to mark out the end of the session. On Friday we can see that the bias was, let's see, the bias was actually also not in line, so I wasn't looking for a trade unless the bias of the 1 hour changed to bearish, yeah. But it never did, or it did, but no, it never did. So that's why I didn't took a trade, and I'm glad I didn't. So yeah, that's the trade recap of this week. So potential setups, one really good potential setup that could have made me $500 on my, or 500, 400, 300, let's be realistic, $300 on my FTMO account. Just don't worry, that's my current trade. I'll hop over it at the end of the week again. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, or actually we have something more to talk about. So as you guys can see, here's my journal for my funded account, and as you guys can see, I've been pretty consistent, but if I'm being honest, I wasn't consistent at all. And yeah, that's something I want to improve on. I want to get better at being consistent more again now, and yeah, because doing what I know is good for me gives me like peace. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Then I also will start journaling again. I have here my journal, and I won't delete this page, but I want to start journaling too on my with a real book again, because I want to do it as a late night activity before sleeping and reflect on the day. So this won't help me a lot. And I'm also writing a little book, just my story. And yeah, that's my fitness program. I actually can delete that if I'm being honest. I will right now with you guys, or I will just move it to this with my friends. Yeah, this I can delete. Fuck this, I didn't start. Or I won't do this now because I'm focusing right now. I'm focusing on trading and drop shipping. And yeah, I hope I didn't leak something. Did I? No. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you soon. Bye.